Let's talk now about something called Azure Sentinel. Now, what exactly is Azure Sentinel? Now, this is a relatively new product that Microsoft has come out with. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what is known as a SIEM product, also known as SIM, depending upon the way you like to pronounce it. SIEM or SIM stands for Security Information and Event Management. And there's another thing called SOAR, Security Orchestration and Automated Response. Okay, so what does all this mean? Okay, well, you probably are aware when you think like in terms of on-prem solutions, you think of all the clients you have, like desktop machines and servers you have, and routers and switches and all these different things you have. And then think about what you got out in the cloud as well. You got all these cloud services going on. We have Exchange Online and SharePoint Online and OneDrive for Business and Teams and all the Office 365 services. All of those things have logs and are generating data. They're generating analytical data. And there are different things going on in regards to threats against all those different products. Wouldn't it be great if we somehow could pull in all the analytical data, all this logging data from the on-prem resources we've got to the cloud services we've got and sort of aggregate those in a central place? Well, in the past, you had to go third party if you wanted to do that. There's products out there. You get into like Splunk and you get into Alien Vault, which is now owned by AT&T, and all these different things, OSIM, all that. And the issue you run into is in the past, you had to go third party. There was just no real Microsoft solution that could do it. Well, now there is. Azure Sentinel can actually do exactly what I was describing to you. It is a cloud-based security information event management as well as security orchestration and automated response product. Okay. Now, what's the purpose? Well, there's a lot of purposes. For one, it does data collection, okay, across all the users in your enterprise devices, applications, your infrastructure, and that includes on-prem as well as the cloud. It has the ability to, with the help of machine learning, it has the ability to look for previously, maybe like previous undetected threats that might have slipped their way into your organization, things that may look out of the ordinary. In other words, anomalies that could have maybe been passed by a human-based system where we're just looking through logs ourselves. This way we can pull everything into one central place and look at it. This allows us to sort of investigate it and hunt for any kind of types of suspicious activities that have been going on. Okay. The great news is with Microsoft, they've got over 3,000 people on their security team that are constantly looking for cybersecurity threats. This goes into their database that works with Sentinel, and of course Sentinel can look for those threats in your environment, and we have the ability to perform responses to those. We have ways to automate. That's part of the orchestration system. We can automate a response whenever Sentinel notices a particular threat. Okay, so you can connect all of your data up. You can link into everything, both on-prem and out in the cloud, with the help of Office 365, Azure AD, Azure ATP, that's Advanced Threat Protection, their cloud app security system, and there's other things. Microsoft has partnerships with other third-party companies, and we can link all that together into Sentinel and pull all that analytical data in and take a look at it. We have workbooks, okay? This is going to let us monitor the data that it's grabbing and basically group everything together. So a workbook is a way for us to sort of group certain things together to analyze specific tasks we want it to analyze. Now, we've also just got all the analytic data, which is a tremendous amount of analytic data that you're pulling from all these sources, and it gives us an opportunity with the help of Sentinel to basically go through and analyze and investigate all that information you are able to grab. This is going to be pulling things together in regards to alerts and any type of threat maybe that it's finding. It helps us go through a process of trying to investigate that analytical data and then deal with it. Okay. Now the other thing would be the security automation orchestration. With our Azure, we have what are called playbooks, and with playbooks, it's something that you can have your Sentinel do if it actually runs across a particular threat. Okay, like for example, I could have Azure Sentinel, it notices something out of the ordinary, and it can send an alert. It can trigger an alert. Okay, it can record that particular alert. It can post a message in, say, Teams, which means I get a pop-up message if I've got Teams open. It can even fire off an email to me to approve this task to actually run through. Okay, so I can define conditions here and decide what, have the security automation orchestration decide what to do with it. This is all part of what Microsoft calls their Azure Logic apps, and it really boils down to programming. If you've ever done any programming before, you know that programming is based on if statements, that verify based on conditions. In other words, if these conditions are true, then perform the following action. Else, if it's not true, perform this other action, essentially is where that's going, okay? We've also got investigation. It gives us a nice way to kind of visualize. Sentinel gives us a nice way to sort of visualize and deeply investigate what's going on. They provide us with all these tools to do that. And we've also have the ability with investigation to kind of scope what it is we want to actually look at. When I say scope, I'm saying like the whole a broad series of different items that I want to look at, or I can kind of nail down and kind of hone in on specific things like specific users, specific devices that could be potential threats. Okay, the investigation process is also going to help us with hunting. Basically, we have a query language called KQL, and this query language allows us to hunt through and look for different types of threats. And this all ties to something called the MITRE Corporation framework. If you didn't know, MITRE Corporation is the big company that sort of works with all the security companies in the world to pull in all the new threats that come out. So what's great about that is, somebody over on the Amazon side of the world, the AWS cloud services, could find a threat, post it in MITRE Corporation's framework, and then we can take advantage of that on the Microsoft 365 side. In other words, Sentinel is tying to this MITRE Corporation framework, and you can have all sorts of query and keyword searches that can help Sentinel actually locate the different things that are out there. And then finally, we've also got community. Azure Sentinel has a community in which we can go through and add new playbooks and all that, different workbooks and new queries. So what's great about that is people out there, come up with different types of customized playbooks they want to run, or special queries, and they might come up with some things that Microsoft never even thought about, but they post that in the community, and we might run across the same problem that this person was running into that calls them to create this query or this playbook, and we can take advantage of that. Okay, Microsoft, as you may know, now owns GitHub, and they use GitHub as a way to post information. So we can all work together as one big community. If I come up with something fancy and cool, I can share that with other people in the community. If you come up with something fancy and cool to help, stop threats or be utilized with Sentinel, you could post that out there in the community as well, and then we can pull that into our Azure Sentinel. Okay. All right. So as you can see, Azure Sentinel, this is their big SIEM or SIM product, however you like to say it, and it can really, really do a lot. And I think it's about time. I'm really, really glad that Microsoft has finally pulled this in there. And it is a very, very valuable tool that we can use in our environment to help us discover the different threats that are out there.